Joining us now, friend of the program, Hofstra Pride alum, former Jets offensive lineman. You catch him on the Carton Show every morning on FS1 with Craig Carton, and you catch him SNY pre and post game Jets analyst as well. Willie Colon. Willie, how was your off season? I saw you a few weeks ago. You and your wife, we were having a blast, sipping some wine, enjoying a Yankees Red Sox game, which isn't the same as past Yankees Red Sox series.
Right.
But how you doing, man?
All is well, man. No complaints, man. I'm blessed. I think it's always tough when you see the Yankees suck as bad as they do. But football's here. It's arrived. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited to see these Jets get underway.
I can guarantee, Cos may not guarantee, I'll guarantee the New York Jets will be better than the New York Yankees in 2023. I'll just go out and say that. Willie, I want you to react. Cos said 8-9. I said 10
8-9.
7. Yeah. I said 10-7. I went a little crazy and said they're going to beat the Eagles in the Super Bowl.
Jake hasn't beaten you win the Super Bowl, Willie. You got both sides of the street here.
I just want to cover a Super Bowl team, so I'm just we're hoping for that. Let's just hit it right off the bat. Give us your prediction for the season.
Well, I at least have them winning the division. I see that. I think this is a team right now who, listen, I can understand, Kaz has been a part of this Jets world for a long time. So his optimism and his blind faith that we all exude that doesn't exist in his world. So I can understand why he's so pessimistic. However, I was fortunate enough to go to Jets camp, and I was fortunate enough to and I was only there for a day. So, but what I saw was a guy by the name of Aaron Rodgers literally changed the culture during his time in training camp. And I was fortunate enough to also walk around the field and talk to multiple people with titles and people who necessarily are the bottom feeders, if you will. And they spoke very adamantly and honestly about how 8, so to speak, really has done a fantastic job of winning over New York and winning over the building with his ability to be accountable, talking life into guys like Mekhi Becton, being there for Zach Wilson, and also implementing a culture that needed some serious readjustment, right? And I've been to part of training camp. I wasn't used to seeing stadium stairs. I wasn't used to seeing the big production of Hard Knocks and NFL films. It felt like I walked into like Disney World for the Jets. It was awesome to see. So, but with all that said, the hype is real. Now it's just a matter of this Jets team going out and doing it against Buffalo Monday night.
I got one for you, Willie. So this is something I've been debating with some people in the building, right? All the talk. We're going to win the Super Bowl. We're going to be the 85 Bears. DJ Reed the other day. You're younger than me. You're a lot younger than me, but I still think you're kind of old school. Like, we were always taught, like, let your play do the talking, right? Like, don't talk so much about it. How do you feel about them kind of going out there? And obviously they didn't choose Hard Knocks. Hard Knocks chose them, but that's amplified this. But it's kind of just I'd say cockiness. It's a cockiness that's coming out of this team that really hasn't done anything yet. How do you feel about the way they're talking right now?
Well, I don't think it stems from them not just believing in themselves. I think that they're being told that they can be one of the best defenses of all time. And you see DJ Reed come out and speak that into existence. One, I don't, DJ Reed wasn't even around for the 85 Bears, right? He would never know how good Richard Dent or Dan Hampton or Mike Singletary was. He would never understand.
Yes. Yeah.
So you do push back about your whole Kemosabe. Like, there's levels to this. I think this Jets defense will be good. What scares me about this Jets defense is, and I saw a little bit of this last year, this Jets defense is going to have to learn how to close games. I don't think they don't understand what that means. I was fortunate enough, when I was at the Pittsburgh Steelers, man, it didn't matter if we scored 3 touchdowns, 3 points, or whatever. The fourth quarter came, our defense was closing that game. There's nothing you can do. There's levels to this. And great defenses, where you talk about the 2000 Ravens, or you're talking about the Legion of Boom, or you're even talking about the Bears, they finish games. Aaron Rodgers is going to score points in the fourth quarter. But he's also going to have to rely on that defense to say, hey, man, if I put 7 on this board, that other team can't score. We haven't seen this defense do that. I've been on record of saying I think Sauce Gardner is a hell of a cornerback. I think he's awesome. But I thought he got away with a lot last year.
Yeah.
As far as like being handsy, some no
Handsy,
calls,
yeah.
all the above. So we got to see if he can be consistently good in year 2. I think DJ Reed is arguably their best DB in that secondary, hands down. I like C.J. Mosley. I like Quentin Williams. But I need to see the supporting cast show up. The Jermaine Johnsons, the Michael Clemens, the Huffs, all these guys who, I'm a big fan of Al Woods, play with Al Woods. A lot of these guys have to come to the party. Now these guys have to arrive. We know who the main characters are. Now what does that supporting cast look like? Because we did see what happened with this Jets defense look like without Quentin Williams in the lineup. And they kind of they turned down a little bit. So it's going to be interesting. I think at this point they have to be tired of talking. I know we're tired of talking about them, reporting them. Now it's time. It's time to see these guys go.
And it begins Monday night. You were an offensive lineman, Willie. I'm curious what you think of the offensive line. Kaz wrote about it. A lot of media has wrote about it. There's some doubts on the offensive line. Can Mekhi Becton move to the right side and do it successfully? Is Dwayne Brown too old to play left tackle? Can Lakin have a big comeback season? Will AVT be the guy we saw in his rookie year? What do you think of this offensive line?
So first off, with Mekhi Becton, I think he's going to be good. I do. I think he'll be fine. The word around the building, the people I've talked to, as long as you continue to talk life into him, you continue to put your arms around him and give him more of an affirmative, tap on the shoulder, like, hey, big fella, you're worthy of being out here. You're doing a great job. As long as you continue to talk, give him that type of that breath of fresh air, he's going to play well. And I think he's played well the last 2 preseason games I saw of him. I think he also is going to play better because Von Miller's not going to be there Monday night, right? So that's going to be a confidence booster.
That helps.
That helps a lot. And I think, listen, you only become a good football player if you play a lot of football. He's missed some time, and that's whether it was injury, whatever the situation is. I was impressed that he came back in shape. I was impressed that he kind of, battled through camp and found himself a position. And now he has to go play football at a high level. I loved him his rookie year. I thought he, besides his generational type his size, I thought he was absolutely awesome his rookie year. Obviously dealt with the knee injury and has been struggling to find his way back. Now that he is back, I do expect Mekhi Becton to have a solid season. I do. I think he knows what's expected of him. I think he has to put in the work. He has to continue to monitor his weight. But I expect him to be an anchor on that line. Now, AVT, same thing. I think he's going to be – obviously, he's their prize horse amongst the 5. He'll be fine. Connor, I think, will be fine. Connor's always going to be good because he's played enough ball. He knows what's expected of him. Lakeland, I think, really, to your point, he has to just go out there and not worry about the people are saying or continue to – I think you could tell at times, and I don't know if it's maybe reading the papers or whatever, man. I worry about how much of this New York media has kind of leaned on him, and so we'll see about that. But I expect him to have a solid year. And I think the fact that he's playing next to Connor and AVT, that middle 3 is going to be solid. I wouldn't have been upset if Joe Tippmann would have started either, because I like Tippmann being a 6'6" guard, flexible, has a range. I'm always going to be a fan. The more you play football, the better you get at it. So I wouldn't be surprised if they would have thrown him in there. And Dwayne Brown, who I got to talk to while I was in camp, he's cut from my cloth. He's old school. He doesn't need a lot of love. He doesn't need the hugs and the pat on the backs, maybe like a Mekhi Becton. He's very like, man, just roll the ball out there. I'm going to go out there and do my job and get it done. Just a matter of him staying healthy. But I got a lot of respect for Dwayne Brown. He's actually one of the guys I love watching play, man, because of his old school nature.
Just to follow that, Willie, they didn't get a lot of time together in camp, right? Dwayne came back 2 weeks ago, I think. AVT missed some time. Mekhi missed a couple of days, not much. But what is there to that unit playing together? What is there to be said for that in terms of gelling? And it's not like the defensive line doesn't really need to play together. I feel like the best O-lines I've covered, they play together a lot. Do you worry about that at all? That communication wise or anything, they might take them a little while.
Well, that's always going to be poignant from the standpoint because not only do they have to play together, they used to play with Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers plays at a different tempo than other receivers. Than other quarterbacks. He's a guy that likes to get everything on the ball, see the defense react, use the hard count as a weapon for him. This offensive line is going to have to used to doing what Aaron wants to do. You know what I mean? there's a lot of times Aaron may have certain things in his head he wants to see right out the gate. So that 5 playing together and being cohesive, that's going to happen over time. But they got to get used to 8 and the tempo he plays. And if you ever watch Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs, those guys are in the 2-point stands and they're locked and loaded. They're ready to go. So they're just going to have to get used to playing a faster tempo and playing a more detailed fashion. Aaron likes to call audibles. He'll see things. He'll ask different things of guys on the outside that he probably, he probably would admit, meaning like he can go to CJ, Houston Mazzada and be like, hey, man, run what you did last week. Just get open. You know what I mean? Like there's different things that he's capable of doing out there.
Right.
But as far as the offensive line, man, I'm not worried about them playing together and getting better. I just want them to continue to stay healthy. Because that's what happened to the Jets last year. They got old fast and they got injured fast, and the depth they had wasn't good enough to kind of sustain what they wanted to do during that year.
Yeah, if anyone goes down there with a ton of offensive line depth, Mitchell and is it Schweitzer? Schneitzer? How do you say it?
Schweitzer. West Schweitzer.
Schweitzer. I'll have a bratwurst with that. We haven't talked yet about the coaching staff, Willie. Is this the right coaching staff to take the Jets to the promised land? For Saleh, this is a make or break year. If they don't make the playoffs, he's probably canned. Jeff Ulbrich, that defense was talented last year. Every time he drops an F-bomb, take a shot, you'd be hammered with watching Hard Knocks. He really fires the guys up. And then Nathaniel Hackett.
Can we talk about that, Jake?
Yeah.
Why? And Kaz, you've been around Rex Ryan for a long time.
Yeah.
Rex was not no devout Christian when it came to his verbiage.
No.
So
Rex
why is, and I'm interested on your take, Kaz, like why are people so hung up on Robert Saleh using, bad language, which for me, I don't think it's bad language. Words only matter if you make them matter.
I don't care about it. I wasn't even aware if people were making a big deal about it. I don't care. And I think what always makes me laugh is these guys are amazing when you talk to them in private and they F-bomb all over the place. Then they get in front of the microphones and they never say it. Right. And it's almost like when you have kids, right? My language is pretty bad. When my kids are around, my son's 14. I've probably said that 2 or 3 times in his lifetime in front of him on accident. Right. But yeah, so I don't. I mean, this is the way it is, man. This is the way football coaches speak, and yeah, they're just words. As long as they're not saying anything derogatory, I don't see a big deal about it. But yeah, Ulbrich likes his language too.
Well, I would say this: there was like rumors or speculation that Robert Saleh was too nice, right? That he may have been too nice to be coaching this type of team. And I'm saying to myself, either he's too nice or he's too what?
He can't win, really.
That he's the head coach, and head coaches wear multiple hats. And to your point, my mom was considered the sweetest woman in American history. Like people loved my mother, but couldn't even imagine like her a bad bone existed in her body. Now, amongst the core of my family, she had a mouth like Stone Cold Steve Austin. Like she was aggressive, she was mean, and she cursed a lot. Probably where I learned how to curse, most likely, be honest. But to your point, on the outside world, she was like, hey, she's the sweetest woman to ever walk the planet. I like the fact that Robert Saleh uses bad words. I like the fact that he's looking at this young Jets group and realized the only way I'm going to get through to these guys or spark their attention is by using some unchoice words to let them know that the urgency of the moment is now arrived, that there's no longer going back. Like we are here.
I laugh at the idea he's too nice, right? Like, was Tony Dungy too nice? Tony Dungy seems like a really nice guy. They won a lot of football games there. There's other examples too. And then people say, oh, he's doing that for the cameras now because he's trying to prove he's not that nice. Like, you can't win. That's Saleh. That's him. I've known him. I've gotten to know him pretty well for 3 years now. He'll throw the language around, and he is a very, very nice guy. But I also think he is the pulse of his football team, and he knows what they need. And I think he's pretty good at communicating with them and doing that part of the job. I think you've seen that on Hard Knocks, the speeches and stuff. I don't know. I think I like his speeches. I think they're thoughtful for the most. I thought the Mount Everest thing was cool. Like, I thought that was a great analogy that he came up with. So it's funny though. Now he said that to us last week. He said to the media, And we turn to each other and go, oh, that's going to be on Hard Knocks in a speech next week. Because now I can see it because he gives us the same kind of speech every once in a while. And the Crows, he did the Crows thing with us early in camp. And then they showed the speech. Yeah. So it's like he has his little analogies that he finds. I think I don't know. I'd like to sit in those meetings, like if I was a player, rather than I think some other coaches I've covered, there's no way they were communicating like that in meetings.
Adam Gase wasn't cursing and talking about crows in a meeting.
Adam Gase was cursing. I'll guarantee that. But Adam Gase, I don't think Adam Gase wouldn't have these analogies and speeches like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and Nathaniel Hackett just rocking out at MJ the Musical. I love Nathaniel. He's one of those guys. May not be a great head coach, but hell of a coordinator. His 2 MVPs, Rodgers, are under him. I'm excited to see this offense. Willie
LaFleur called the plays, Jake.
Well,
let's let Nathaniel Hackett prove himself before we crown him as a great offensive coordinator. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to crown him early here. All right, Jets Bills. What are you looking for in this game here, Willie? I know you said you think the Jets are going to win. You think they're going to finish win the division. So I assume that's like 11-6 somewhere around there. But break down this game for us on Monday night. It's going to be rocking at MetLife.
It's going to not only be rocking at MetLife, but I think it's going to probably be one of the most pivotal games of the season for this team, considering it's going to be against a division opponent. I think Josh Allen and Aaron Rodgers have pretty much dominated the headlines. I also think this is a team that they're going to play hard. They're going to play fast. They're going to give you everything that we've been expecting. I'm just ready to see what this run game looks like with Dalvin Cook and possibly Breece Hall, right? I want to see what that looks like. I'm interested to see also from a defense standpoint how well, Quentin Williams is not going to be a secret. He's not a secret anymore, right? Like how well does this supporting cast help him? Because if you look around the league, man, the Nick Bosa's of the world, the Chris Jones of the world, both guys who are sitting out because of the money, what they do is demand double teams and allows other guys a one-on-one situation, one-on-ones. Can the Jermaine Johnsons, all these young guys, the Downings, the Will Downings of the world, can they go off on Monday night? Because that's where you earn your name, on Monday Night Football. So I want to see what those guys look like. And I'm also interested, man. I want this Jets team to flat out win. And I know that sounds very cliche and boring. Enough with the talking. Let's play football. And Kaz has a point. It's okay to be crass and somewhat cocky, but now you got to put it on tape. And now when you're this vocal about who you are and what you can be, if you're not who you say that you are and the tape doesn't support that, hell's missiles are coming down on the Jets, man. You know what I mean? Just with the backlash, the criticism. So if they don't perform like we expect them to perform or how we want them to perform, I know Aaron Rodgers has been very vocal about his temperament. Like, I'm not the same old Aaron Rodgers. I'm too old to maybe be as snappy or impatient. I understand this is a young locker room and they have to learn how to win. And I know he understands what the culture was and he's trying to make it to what it could be. But, Kaz, you've been in the media. You know, if this man goes in Monday night and he throws, 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions and they look mediocre, there will be hell to pay. You know what I mean? And
Tuesday's gonna be something on the Carton show.
Tuesdays, yeah, it's gonna be it's gonna be it will be way different than anything he's ever experienced in Green Bay.
Yeah.
How does he handle that? And if this comes, and to your point, you said they may be an 8-9 team. Let's just say they turn around. They got a brutal 8 games. Let's be 100. They got a tough 8 games. If they leave, if they walk out of this thing scuffed up out of the month of September, and it's the Aaron Rodgers, was he worth the money? All this hype, yada, yada, yada. I want to see how can he handle it, because we've talked about it. You know what I mean? We've watched this disgruntled Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay talk about his GM and Brian Gutekunst and Mark Murphy and how he was not happy and he was unhappy with his last couple of years, even though they paid him handsomely. What does he look like and how does he sound? Because this locker room can't handle a disgruntled Aaron Rodgers. He is their Lord and Savior. He will, you know what I mean? He will break, he would crack that locker room if he's not, if he doesn't remain steady Eddie. So we'll see. It's a lot to be said. It's a lot to see, but I expect this Jets team to be very good. I expect them to win. It's just a matter of just going out and doing it.
I thought of this the other day. You guys will appreciate this, as you're talking about the Yankees. and Willie, I know you how big a Yankees fan you are. People have asked me a lot about Aaron and the New York media, and is it different here? And like, look, if he has a bad game in Green Bay, he's getting slayed in Green Bay too. But it's just the little differences here. So like, I was watching the Jeter show, the Captain, that documentary they did, and after he broke his ankle the one year in the playoffs, and that offseason, we got a picture of him down in South Beach, and he looked a little chunky. Right, I think it was a bad picture. Like his shirt, the way it was falling, and our back page was Derek Eater.
Oh wow, wow!
And Jeter tells the story. And he said he was at breakfast when someone brought him the paper, and he had all this food over, and he pushed all the food away because he's like, "Oh man, they think I'm fat." But that doesn't happen in Green Bay.
No.
So there's going to be something like that along the way here, where it's a little different in New York. Or last Thanksgiving, our front page was a turkey with Zach Wilson's head on it. Like that stuff doesn't happen in Green Bay. So yeah, I'm curious to see Willie. Like there's been a pretty nice long honeymoon here, and he's got nothing but good press and love. But at some point, that's going to change. There's going to be something goes wrong,
And to give Aaron his flowers too, I thought he's done a great PR job.
Amazing.
Landing in New York, kissing the babies, eating the pizza, going to the concerts. Just being Mr. Target. I thought he's done a fantastic job. I think he's actually suppressed New York's, I guess, angst, and maybe, speak about the Yankees. I remember Randy Johnson showed up. He was punching reporters when he got here.
Yeah, he pushed a photographer. Yeah,
he literally looked like somebody who's like, "This isn't my habitat. Kill everybody." Aaron Rodgers didn't do that. He won over New York. He's won over that building. Now he has to just go win, and I hope he does it. I'm really pulling for him, but being a part of this media market, and I'm homegrown, is different. It's real different. So we'll see.
How do you got a prediction how deep the Jets go? Do you think they can win a Super Bowl? Do you want to really, Willie, do you want to ride the Super Bowl train with me to Viva Las Jets Vegas on February, the week after my 33rd birthday? The Jets play in the Super Bowl in Vegas.
I can't. The Jets haven't been to the playoffs in 13 years, man. I gotta hold myself accountable. I was part of that reason. But at the same accord, man, I do expect this team to play meaningful games in December. I do expect this team to land in the playoffs. How far they go, who knows? Because this is what we also got to understand. And Cost, you've been around, Jake. You've watched them when the Jets were relevant in 2009 to 2010. You got to learn how to win football games, and you got to learn how to win football. You got to learn how to win football games when the target's on your back. When people know who, you know what I mean? Like, it's easy to walk through the back door and steal all the cookies and burn the house down. Like, oh, look at the big bag bandit. But it's another thing when you come through the front door and they're expecting you, and you still burn the house down and steal the goodies. Like, it's a different mindset, and you got to be dominant on the road. So I'm not saying the Jets aren't talented. I'm not saying they're not capable of being a very good team. What I am saying is winning comes with a maturation. You have to learn how to win. You have to learn how to handle winning. You have to learn what it takes to win. You know how to prepare to win. I was fortunate my years with the Steelers, man. We not only embrace winning, but we also realized for us to get the respect and to dominate, we had to be able to win on the road. It's easy to kick ass in your own building, but can you kick ass in your own building, kick ass on the road, and then kick ass to the point where people are waiting for you to see if you can kick their ass? You know what I mean? So it's different, man. It's different. And this team is young. I love the talent. I love the vibrant. You got Woody wearing, platinum chains and all white Air Force Ones, which is amazing. I was like, I guess I credit Sauce Gardner for that. But it's fun. But in a couple days, we'll see how fun it is if they don't go out there and perform like they should against Buffalo.
Well, looking forward to that, and we'll catch us the morning after in Gainesville here, and you can watch Willie on TV on the Carton Show on FS1, 7 to 9:30 a.m. and an early wake up. You won't be at the game, right? Because you'll be in the SNY studio.
No, I'll be in the SNY studio with me, Connor Rogers, Bart Scott, Steve Gelbs, getting everybody ready for the game on Monday night, and then we'll see what the post show looks like. So we'll see what happens.
You're all over the TV spectrum, Willie. I mean, you got the late night SNY, you got the early morning FS1. He's all over the place. Willie Colon, Hofstra alum, Will Colon 66. Let's hope the Jets bring us these positive vibes and you could turn the page over from the disappointing Yankees, my disappointing Mets. We need football. And Willie Colon, we appreciate you coming on.
No, thank you guys. I appreciate it.